What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with another episode of What Stupid Thing Will Bungie and Activision Do Next? Actually, that's not the title of the video, but honestly, at this point, I could probably do a whole video series or start a video series with that title, given the kind of week Bungie and Activision are having with Destiny. It's pretty hilarious, actually. So, anyways, if you guys were not aware, obviously there was the controversy with Luke Smith. I have a video on that. There's been all the stuff about the Taken King and the DLC pricing model and the fact that Day 1 players are getting screwed over on that. There's been all kinds of videos and stuff about that. But to put the topping on the cake, so to speak, they basically have now come out, and you have Redbull just announced the other day that they're doing this, this Destiny promotion. Now, of course, we knew about this because it was leaked quite a long time ago, but they announced the official details on it, and this is just more, in my opinion, more bad news for Destiny, more bad news for Bungie and Activision in general. And at this point, I have to wonder who actually works PR for Activision and Destiny. I have to wonder, who is actually ahead of that department and is basically letting this stuff come out and is just having to deal with all this, because in my opinion, it's like they don't even have a PR department, the way they just kind of throw this news out. So anyways, guys, here is the deal with the Red Bull, with the Red Bull thing that's going on. You basically, if you buy Red Bull, you will get a code for bonus XP for the game, or to get this epic new quest in the Taken King. Now, unfortunately, this is going to be limited to the United States only. So if you live outside the U.S., you will not be able to pick up this Red Bull can that's going to give you exclusive access to this quest. Now, what this is going to do is each can is going to have a code that you can use for the XP. It's going to give you a 30-minute XP buff. Basically, you're going to earn XP at a 50% faster rate than you normally would. And it's called Focused Light. It's going to be a one-time consumable, and you get, from what it looks like, you could get one of those per can, but you can only redeem one at a time. So you're going to be able to basically use those codes all the way through July of 2016. So that's going to last quite a while. Now, these Red Bull cans are only going to be available for a limited time. They will be exclusive to 7-Eleven stores from July 1st to September 1st, and from August 1st to September 30th, they will be sold in Walmart and other stores. So you only have till September 30th to pick up one of these cans to get your exclusive quest, and also get the bonus XP. Now, the interesting thing is this quest is supposedly, from what they're saying, it is an epic new quest with never-before-seen multi-stage mission in the Taken King, which will test speed and strategic abilities of Destiny players in new ways. That's very interesting. Now, I have kind of mixed feelings on this because I used to play Call of Duty and obviously used to play Halo. So having an XP thing like this is not a big deal in my eyes. I don't think that's a problem. I was one of those people who bought a bunch of packs of Doritos because I like Doritos. And stuff like that when I wanted to play Call of Duty I think it was Modern Warfare 3 when they did the big promotion, and I definitely did purchase some of those Doritos so I could get double XP and reach Prestige faster. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's no big deal. I mean, that kind of makes it optional to your players. Now, I understand there's a rather large grind in Destiny, so yes, that double XP would be helpful, but I don't really have a big deal with that part of the promotion. I think that's fine. It's optional to people. It's not a huge deal if you don't get it. The problem I have is with this epic new quest being exclusive. Now, before anybody jumps on me, yes, I can read. I understand everybody is going to get access to it in January, which is what they've said. This quest is going to be exclusive to Red Bull basically through the beginning of 2016. Now, they've said when, in January of 2016, you'll basically be able to, everybody will have access to this quest, everybody who has the game. Now, one thing that's interesting here, actually, first, let me just start on the problems I have with that. I don't think any content in the actual game should be limited to anyone for this period of time, unless it's already an established console exclusive like you have with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. There's way too much of this exclusive garbage going on now with games. And I think this especially, when you pay, you know, when people are going to pay $40 to $80 for this Taken King game, and then you're going to sit there and you're going to take out a full multi-stage quest, which according to what I've read online is going to have some exclusive rewards and other things that you can only get from obviously playing it if you buy the Red Bull between now and January. Again, guys, I can read. I know everybody's going to get it, and I also know that you can just simply go buy a couple of Red Bulls for however, $5 or $6. That's not the issue. I don't have a problem with price. You know, I can afford it. Definitely. That's not my problem. The problem is the principle behind it. It's just, I'm so sick of everything with this game being an exclusive or a one-time deal, or you have to buy this or that, or it's just getting out of hand. It's getting ridiculous. And I think, Bungie's finally starting to get a whole bunch of crap for it, which is good. But you shouldn't put out this DLC for $40 or $60 or $80 or whatever it costs, and then basically say on top of that, oh, hey, look, guys, this other part of the game, this piece of actual game content is going to be exclusive for a couple of months only if you buy this Red Bull. And like I said, I don't have the price is not a big deal. It's the principle behind it, and also the fact that any people who play Destiny who live outside the United States are not going to be able to access this until January. I have an issue with that, because what that's also going to do is, I guarantee you're actually going to see people selling cans of Red Bull with these codes on Amazon and eBay for like $20 to $30. It happened with those amiibos with Nintendo. If there's something that people can take advantage of, they definitely will do it. And I can definitely see people taking advantage of this and basically going in and trying to gouge people in other countries who can't access this content. They're trying to sell them this epic new quest for $20 or $30 on eBay. And I think that's just a problem. I think that's going to be a big deal. I definitely think that is something that is going to come into play. And then Forbes also did another article like they did after the Luke Smith interview, basically kind of echoing some of my thoughts. And it's just interesting how Destiny is really starting to get a lot of negative publicity, and it's their own doing, unfortunately. So that's my thoughts basically on this, guys. I wonder how you guys feel about this. Again, I said it's not the price, it's not the fact that it's cheap, it's going to be something you can just go out and buy. It's the whole principle behind it. And again, like I said, I don't have any problem with the bonus XP promotion. That's not a big deal. That's happened before. I have a problem with the actual quest content, in-game actual content being part of an exclusive through an outside promotion. Call of Duty did this before, Halo did this before, but you didn't have to buy a bag of Doritos to get a Halo campaign mission. You didn't have to buy a bag of Doritos to get a PvP map in COD or a campaign map in COD. It's just Activision is taking it to the next level with their just ridiculousness and their money grubbing, and I think it's just a further example of how they've become such a terrible publisher, and how they're just, again, they don't care about their gamers. They don't care about the people that support their games. They're basically just doing whatever they can to, to make money, which, I've seen people say, well, they need to make money. They're a developer. People need to eat, blah, blah, blah. Guys, that is such a ridiculous argument. They have made so much money already on Destiny and Call of Duty and all their other games that they are not hurting for any money. I seriously doubt that is a problem for anybody that works at Activision. So I think that argument is just hilarious when people say that. They don't seem to understand how corporate America works and how much money these companies actually have and how much money their employees actually make. It's pretty ridiculous. But anyways, that having been said, I had one other. Of course, I've lost my train of thought here. I do apologize, guys. I'm still feeling a little under the weather, so my voice probably still sounds terrible. Still dealing with a little bit of a sinus issue after going on vacation and sitting on the airplane for a bit. But yeah, I just kind of lost my train of thought there. I had one other thing I was going to mention about this, but I seem to have forgotten it. But yeah, overall, this is just, I think, another pretty poor decision that is being made by the people who are running Destiny. It's just getting a bit ridiculous right now, especially on top of all the other stuff that's been coming out this week. With all the bad publicity they're getting, and then they throw this in on top of it. So really unfortunate that this game is headed that way. Like I said, I'm not even playing Destiny anymore in my Destiny videos. That's how disillusioned I've become with the game, and how much I really, I don't want to give any gameplay or any more publicity to the gameplay, but I definitely want to report on the news, especially for some of you guys who are still playing this game, so I can see if maybe I can sway some people to get out of out of Activision's influence, because it's just pathetic the way they treat their gamers and the way they are treating this game. Oh, I know what it was. This is what I was going to say. Everybody is saying, yeah, you're going to get this content in January. But, Bungie hasn't said anything about this. Neither has Activision. They haven't said, oh, it's just going to be free when January rolls around and it's available to everyone. I would not even be surprised at this point if January rolls around and this Redbull quest becomes available to the player base, and Bungie basically says, guess what? This is going to be DLC. This is going to be $5 or $10 or whatever to get this quest in the game. I know that sounds ridiculous, and I know people are probably like, oh, they're not going to do that. But at this point, given their track record, why wouldn't they? I just, if you have to go out and buy Redbull to get it, why wouldn't Bungie say, oh, Redbull made their cut off this, why don't we get some money off this too? And I could definitely see them charging $5 or $6 for this game, or I'm sorry, not for the game, for this little quest when it loses its exclusivity period. So I think that's something to pay attention to, because that could very easily happen, and it would not surprise me in the least, given their track record so far. I also would not be surprised if we finally start to see microtransactions in Destiny. I think that is definitely coming, especially given Luke Smith's comments about throwing money at putting something on the screen for players to throw money at. I would not be the least bit surprised if they start putting microtransactions into this game at some point. So I think it's pretty inevitable at this point. Anyways, guys, that's going to about do it for me. Let me know your thoughts on this. I know some of you probably don't think it's that big of a deal, but again, as I said, it's not the price. It's not that it's just a little piece of content. It's the principle behind it. It's just the principle of how they continue to screw over gamers and how they continue to just, be money whores, basically is what it is. And I especially like to hear from you guys. If you live outside the United States, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this and how you're not going to be able to actually get this content. Unless, like I said, you probably spend 20 or 30 bucks on Amazon and buy a can of Red Bull that people are going to try to gouge you for. So, very interesting, guys. Very interesting times for this game. I think Destiny is definitely in a little bit of hot water right now. It's going to be interesting to see how they come back from this. And at this point, the Taken King had better be the best DLC that's ever come out in the history of video games. Or I think Destiny is in a lot of trouble. As they say it's a 10-year franchise, but I don't know. It's going to be lucky to make it 2 or 3 years at this point, the way they're going. So, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for me. Put your thoughts down below. Love to hear your commentary and have a discussion like we've been having on the Taken King videos. It's been pretty good to have. It's been pretty civil for the most part, but would like to definitely hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Guys, it's been TechnoViking23, and I'll see you again next time.